And hello, welcome to Open, the show that's opening the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough and New York City. Coming up, we'll explore the journey and vision of a dynamic leader whose commitment to artistic expression and community enrichment knows no bounds. And then we'll discuss an organization that's dedicated to building self-determination among people with disabilities, as well as driving community change. And then we'll learn about an organization promoting greater access to clean, reliable, and affordable energy solutions for residential and business customers. And then following that, we'll talk about a foundation that's recognizing and celebrating exceptional public school teachers who inspire learning through creativity, passion, and commitment. And finally, we'll discuss a Jewish camp that's providing confidence-building opportunities where campers experience joy and discovery in a shared Jewish setting. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I am Daren Jaime. You're now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Well, some things have been going on through the course of the past week, and we'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. Well, we kick off our show with city news. New York City is allocating over $1 billion, creating new job opportunities. New York City Mayor Eric Adams introduced the initiative as the city's inaugural community hiring effort. The funding aims to generate employment opportunities, particularly targeting those in need. These contracts will primarily focus on roles such as security guards, field inspectors, and other safety-related positions. The city also plans on providing free training for these new hires. In other news, New York State Governor Kathy Hochul announced New Yorkers can now present a highly secure digital version of their state-issued driver's license, learner's permit, or ID on their smartphones. Governor Hochul stated, quote, "This cutting-edge technology offers convenience and enhanced security. Users can quickly display their IDs and have control over their personal information that they share. The free digital ID, known as the MID, is linked to the user's phone number, allowing selective sharing of information like showing date of birth while keeping home addresses private. The app can only be unlocked via Face ID, Touch ID, or a customizable 6-digit PIN, ensuring security even if the phone is accessed by others. It's accepted at restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, and nearly 30 airports nationwide, including all terminals at LaGuardia and JFK, and the MID aligns with TSA requirements. That is music to my ears. Well, in local news, New York's summer EBT program will support low-income families by providing $120 per school-aged child each month during the summer to help with groceries. Now, families can receive these funds on individual cards, usable at grocery stores and farmers markets, similar to SNAP benefits. Eligibility for the automatic families already receiving SNAP, temporary assistance, or reduced price school meals. Others must apply. Now, the funds, they expire after 120 days after deposit. Applications are due by September 3rd. Make sure you get them in. And if you want more information, call the helpline, 833-452-0096. Again, 833-452-0096. And that's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but guess what? We got more open when we return.
I remember when the Bronx did not really have a media outlet properly representing the people of the Bronx.
BronxNet provides for the community by being a community where people can be empowered to share their voices.
We are in a really great place technologically. We've got all the resources that we need to be effective.
Whether it's through cameras, storytelling, editing, we have provided those services for 30 years.
BronxNet's mission is to be a voice for the community.
To educate, to inform, and to inspire.
And you can be a part of it. We've built studios for you.
And we are back. Our next guest is a remarkable individual whose journey through music, television, and philanthropy has left an indelible mark on both industries as well as community. Now, beyond his entrepreneurial ventures, he embraces roles as motivational teacher, author, spreading positivity through works. And he's got things. He's the host of the Winner's Circle on This Is 50 on YouTube, Instagram, and iTunes. And he's the author of Yes, Every Day Can Be a Good Day, and Yes, You Can, and the founder of the June Archer School of Arts. Joining me now, author, motivational teacher, TV personality, the one, the only, June Archer. And I want to thank you, man, for coming. You know, you said you do this, and I'm so glad you're here.
Man, I'm excited to be here. I mean, our first encounter had to be divine. So we are here for a reason, and I'm excited, and I'm glad that we're able to add value in each other's lives.
Well, you're going to add value to more lives because I want you to have an opportunity to talk. First of all, let's talk about you.
Yes.
You know, you started off in the music industry, and you had a music career, and you transitioned. But talk about the music industry.
That was a dream come true. We're talking about early 90s, you know, having a dream of becoming Michael Jackson and looking at New Edition as the example of what you wanted to do in terms of music. And I was a gifted athlete, but the music just kept calling me.
Right.
And for me, it was getting together with some childhood friends and practicing singing and dancing. And we were in jazz show choir. You know, a lot of people call it Glee Club now. And just perfecting our chops to the opportunity came where my senior year in high school, we had the opportunity to win this talent show. The first place prize was an opportunity to go to the world famous Apollo Theater. Second place prize, $500. And I love telling that story because the person who came in second place was a childhood friend of ours called Anika Noni Rose, who has gone on to be the first African-American Disney princess. She played in Dreamgirls with Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson. But her dream didn't stop just because she came in second place. She made sure to finish the race, right? We went on to win first place, went on to the Apollo Theater 19, 20 times, and on our 21st time, we finally got our record deal. We had our name on the marquee. Our first single was out, video was on BET, VH1, MTV, The Box, and that was where the dream started. And then we come to find out that I like to tell young people, don't just have one dream, because when that dream is over, once you've accomplished that, what else do you have?
Right.
So I went on to become a music executive and had the opportunity to work with the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, Chris Brown, 50 Cent, Mario, Marion, Gym Class Heroes. Like, those were still dreams, but I didn't realize, like, after losing that record deal, right? And that time was up when the music literally and figuratively stopped. What was I gonna do next? And so I was able to get back into the music business, still doing what I love and being an advocate for young artists because I knew that side of the business, but also loving the business side. And then taking that mentality and going back home and providing opportunities for young people who weren't gonna get that same opportunity because we didn't have the Apollo Theater back in Hartford, Connecticut.
Right. So for yourself, you have an opportunity now to really give back, give back to young people, and then those people who are really coming up in the industry to say, listen, there's more to this than just making music. You could be an executive. You could have the opportunity to do a whole lot more. And I want you to take a moment and share a little bit because you're also doing some, some leadership coaching here too.
Oh, absolutely. When that part of that leadership comes through having the opportunity to, people to understand leading, right? Leading is just really being a mentor, right? And figuring out how can you pull out the best from people? How do you give people opportunity? How do you promote people? and not just from positions, but promoting in terms of motivation, motivating them and inspiring them to be the best version of themselves. So for me, I go out to corporate America, I go to colleges, high schools. I just did a middle school graduation in Mount Vernon, New York, telling our young people that they could dream. If they could believe it, they could see it, they could do it. But you gotta start your 10,000 hours now, right? Malcolm Gladwell talks about this 10,000 hour model in terms of being the person who is skilled at their craft, but you gotta put the work in. And I do that at every level that I have the opportunity, because I took that from the music model and took it into business and just now sharing in education.
And you're also using your platform to really bring celebrities to the forefront, sharing their stories, sharing them. You got a podcast that's out there on
blessed,
This is 50.
Blessed to
50
have
Cent?
that. Yeah, 50, afforded me the opportunity to be on his platform, thisis50.com, and I've had the opportunity to interview, you could go just 50 Cent himself, Gerard Butler, Chris Rock, Regina Hall. The names go on, but the best part about it is to have the access to be able to take their stories and share with people who have dreams and aspirations of doing exactly what they're doing. It may not be as large or that scale, but they realize that they go through the same things as normal human beings, because at the end of the day, they are normal human beings.
Absolutely.
So I'm very grateful for 50 to give me this opportunity. And the show is called The Winner Circle, right? How do you surround yourself with like-minded people that will hold you accountable, that will feed you everything you need to become successful, right? Sometimes our inner circle is not always the best for us. So I try to tell people, who are the top 5 people who are in your winner circle to allow you to be the best version of yourself, to hold you accountable to make your dreams come true.
So for yourself, obviously, who do you put in that circle?
Well, I look to...
Who's your starting 5?
Oh, my starting 5. Let me tell you something. My starting 5, literally, and it's a complicated starting 5 because I put family first. Right. I put my wife and my kids as part of that inspiration. Because if you're not doing it for anything else, you have to do it for your family. Not just financially, but to inspire them to be the best version of themselves. Then you have, my peers who have been in the music business with me. I put them as a core. I have my starting 5 within that starting 5. And then you got Oprah, you got Jay-Z, you got 50. So between the family, the inner circle, and those 3, those are the 5 that keep me inspired, because when I look at Oprah, Jay, and 50, I look at 3 individuals who are successful in their own right. But imagine if we told them, Oprah, stick to interviewing. Don't start a network. Don't act. Don't start a magazine. Jay, stick to rapping. Don't start a streaming service. Don't start a movie production company. 50, don't do any shows. Don't act. Just stick to rapping. Don't start no champagne company. What would those worlds look like with all the opportunities they've given to so many people? What does that world look like? So when I look at what they're doing, I say to myself, I could do the same thing. So I've emulated in different ways. I've started, a company that does marketing promotion, helps artists. I have a clothing line. I have a jewelry line. I have a shoe line. I have a podcast, right? I do great events to honor people of color throughout the state of Connecticut and Western Massachusetts. What would it look like if I just stayed in the music realm and not be able to be a blessing to so many people? What does that look
and I
like?
want you to talk a little bit about, because we got a few minutes left, I want you to talk a little bit about the June Archer Foundation, because people don't know, but they do know the work that you're doing. So talk to me a little bit about the foundation and how you're giving back.
Well, the foundation started out from the pandemic, where I had the opportunity to teach, young people about what it is that I do in the music business. And throughout that, it was during the pandemic, a friend of mine gave me the opportunity, and he said, you should continue to teach. I'm like, man, what would I call it? Would I call it the June Archer School of Arts? Just, in jest. And he's like, yeah, that's it.
There you go.
And as we went on to call different principals and superintendents that I knew personally and getting into the schools, I realized that some of these schools don't have the funding to be able to have, teachers or those, we're teaching DJing, graphic design, filmmaking, photography, animation, podcasting, songwriting. So we can't pay these instructors. I can't allow them to come in and, they need to eat too. So I said, how do we raise money and ask for money? And so that's where the June Archer Foundation came in. And since then, we changed it to the Archer Foundation, as my wife has now become an integral part of the Archer Foundation, and she is the executive director. And I feel very comfortable with her at the helm because I know that in order to be successful, not only do you need a great woman behind you, you need someone who's a pillar, you know, someone who's a backbone of your community and your organization. And for me, that's my wife.
Speak to me about the arts, because when we talk about school, the first thing that gets cut in the budget,
Always.
music, arts, and sometimes sports, right?
Right.
But how critical is it to have the arts in school? Because when we talk about young people, they may not get geometry right off the bat.
No.
They may not get,
They won't.
mathematics or chemistry. But there is an attachment to the arts that links them to education.
And they love the interactive piece of education, right? You can't keep them in silos. So when you put them in an opportunity to do project-based learning, and you talk about music, one of the things that we learn in terms of learning music in school is mathematic grades go up, team building goes up, right? Why did we take music out of school when kids can excel in science and mathematics? Why did we take phonics out of school and now we're trying to figure out why our young people are reading at a third grade level and barely graduating high school? It's because we're taking arts out of the school system. So yeah, it's great to have STEM programs, that's great. But isn't STEM really school on a grander scale? Like, why did we need to put the A back in to STEM and keep it as STEAM, right?
Right.
But it's still, once again, it's still a robust opportunity for young people to learn the whole gamut. There's no reason to call it STEM or STEAM, but you can't take the A out of STEAM.
Right. Well, we're running out of steam on this segment, but I got to bring you back.
Absolutely.
But before we do that, how do people get in touch with you in terms of seeing your work, your platform?
Oh,
What do you do?
I appreciate you. First of all, amazing. I'm so glad I had this opportunity.
Man,
I can't wait for you to get your shoes.
Listen,
I can't
yes,
believe
we're
he
gonna
got
talk about that, yes.
He got his June Archer 3s.
That's right. I got some shoes that I ain't got the chance to wear yet.
Yeah.
They ain't get to me yet.
But they're on their way. But please, you can follow me at June Archer, JUNEARCHER. Go right to the website, IamJuneArcher.com. That has all of my information, all of my events, all my programs, all of my merchandise.
Good to have you, man.
I appreciate
It's
you.
a blessing to have you, man. Listen, now if you want more information, do me a favor. Visit the website, as he said, IamJuneArcher.com. Of course, follow them on social media at June Archer. And listen, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Congratulations to BronxNet on its 30th anniversary. And I'm blessed that I was here shortly after the beginning of BronxNet. At that time, I took the field and studio classes, and I spent a lot of time helping other people have shows before I put my toe in the water and decided to have a show for myself. For those of you who are familiar with the Blackwash Televised Art Gallery, that was my first show on my own. And now I am pumping up La Finca del Sur, doing Eating Healthy with La Finca del Sur on BronxNet's Channel 70. And I appreciate everyone watching.
And we are back. Recently, a significant decision was made to halt the advancement of the New York Heat Act, a move that was applauded by a coalition of businesses as well as labor groups. Now, in a state that heavily relies on natural gas for heating homes and powering communities, finding a balanced approach to energy policy, crucial. As New York aims to lead in clean energy, the challenge remains to ensure reliability and affordability for all of its residents, especially the most vulnerable. Joining me now is the Executive Director of New Yorkers for Affordable Energy, Daniel Ortega. And Daniel, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
A conversation that we do need to have, right? How do we get to the place of having affordable energy. Certainly on the legislative end, some setbacks, but the reality is that it's very plausible.
It is possible, and our coalition strongly believes that natural gas should be playing an important role on achieving all of those goals. And natural gas powers anywhere between 25 to 50% of the energy that the state needs in a day, in a very, very hot day like today, or very, very cold days in the middle of the winter.
Right.
The policies that need to be taken into consideration cannot be either or. All of these things have to be done hand on hand. We have to work together to make sure that while we maintain affordability and reliability for everybody in the state of New York, we're also achieving the goals that we need to achieve in order to make sure that we have safer, better sources of energy overall. I think that Albany needs to make sure that those efforts don't clash against each other and that we continue working together to achieve what is achievable without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
These are very good goals, but at the same time, they're very expensive goals, and we need to make sure that particularly people here in the Bronx are not getting the brunt of it, are not paying for the things that we're trying to achieve.
Let's talk a little bit about where we are legislatively. We talk about the New York Heat Acts, stall progress here, right? Where are we?
Well, the legislature left Albany. The Senate passed the bill as it has been proposed, but there was no movement from the Assembly to move the bill forward. There are many members at the legislative, in the Assembly side that have serious concerns about the affordability, the reliability, and the overreach of government in terms of where energy will come to supply the power to New Yorkers. And we have spoken to many legislators and we have echoed many of their concerns about that. And a lot of the people who have serious concerns about this are not just suburban lawmakers. You have lawmakers from urban centers up in Buffalo, the Buffalo area, the center, urban centers in the middle of the state, and here in New York City, where people have serious concerns of where is the energy coming from and how much more money are we going to be paying for it.
Right. Cost is a factor, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. We're talking about the fact of already, we know you go at Con Ed, National Grid, people are saying, listen, the prices are ridiculous. How's this going to really play out? What's this going to look like?
Well, the prices are already going up, and part of it is because we don't have enough supply of natural gas coming into the region in a way that, it's basics economics of supply and demand. And the demand continues to increase. We are much more reliable in energy nowadays than ever before in our lives. We all have multiple electronics at home that need power to operate. But at the same time, we're not looking for ways to make sure that the energy sources are cheap in a way that make it affordable for everybody. And this is, without counting into inflation and all of the other things that are pounding day to day and impacting residents every day, like food costs and everything else. And when energy prices go up, everything goes up. For someone to have the ability to deliver eggs to your grocery store down the street, for the bodega to get all those breads, someone needs to drive there. Someone needs to produce that. And if the cost to produce, the cost to deliver that increases because the cost of energy is greater, that is going to be reflected on your bill at the end of the day. So one of the things that we have been trying to put into the minds of our legislators up in Albany is when we're talking about energy is complex, multi-layer, a very complicated type of policy. And when you make a significant change on one little thing in that policy, it's going to have significant consequences. And many times it's, on consequences that we don't think of when we're drafting the legislation. And we need to be conscientious that there's a lot of people who are not being able to afford the energy prices just because we have made it that much more unattainable.
How do you see the future of energy legislation here in the state? I mean, obviously it's an uphill battle, but how do you see it playing out?
I think that we have come a long way. I think that legislators have started to realize that we have to have a much better understanding of the issue, that these things are not happening in a vacuum, and that they have great consequences to everyday people, particularly in the pocketbooks. And we need to make sure that legislators know and understand that these things have to be thought out in a comprehensive manner, and that we need to include everybody in the process, from community organizations that deal with people that are struggling to pay their bills, to large industries that use lots of amount of energy. And as we move forward with more renewables, as we should, and we move forward with different other industries to facilitate our lives, we also need to think about what are the long-term consequences and needs for those industries to be here. And what are the things that we rely on, and how we're going to change the mindset of people so that we all are working together for a better long-term, prosperous, sustainable, affordable energy policy.
Yeah, you spoke of renewable energy a little while ago. I just want to get a sense from you as what do you see as the potential challenges there when it comes to renewable energy?
I think the biggest thing right now is cost. Everybody in the industry that deals with renewable energy knows that this is a very expensive proposal. And ultimately, it's going to be the ratepayers who are going to end up paying for it. And whether it's through subsidies or whether it's through partnership between the private sector and the public sector, we need to find ways to make sure that we are putting enough renewable energy into the grid as it's needed, but we're doing it in a way that it's available to all. There are some countries that have been able to achieve some of these goals, but they also have achieved the goals by relying on natural gas to make sure that there is a backup, to make sure that that the affordability and the reliability is there. Like I said before, and it's something that I always tell people: energy is complicated, and getting it right, it's difficult. I think that what we need to do is we need to find ways to make sure that renewable energy, it's there and it's available. And we're finding ways to make sure that that is reliable. And that is the key. The biggest key is the reliability. Right. You don't want to come home to a very hot or a very cold apartment. You want, and one of the things that we tell people is we do not think about energy until we need it. Right. You don't think about gas until you turn on your vehicle. You don't think about, where the power comes from until it's 90 degrees or 32, in any given day. So we need to make sure that, the people continues to have that reliability no matter where the energy source is.
You lead into my next question, which is about awareness, right? How aware are people when it comes to the issue of this? Because, as you said, sometimes people aren't aware until the bill comes. I see this humongous bill. I see things becoming unaffordable. How am I managing this? Talk to me about public awareness and where you think the public is in the area of awareness right now.
Everybody knows and understands that there needs to be long-term solutions. That's as far as the awareness is concerned. Our organizations and many other organizations have done polling, and look, 90% of the population is in favor of good, clean energy. But the moment that you start telling people what the cause of this is, what are the lack of reliability of some of these things, then people start pushing back. I think that a lot of it, in terms of awareness of legislation, it's the level of awareness that you have and the level of understanding that you have with these things. I encourage people to look more about it, to talk to their elected officials about the things that they're doing, and to try to find better solutions with them as to what are the things that are impacting them. And what are the things that you want to see? Do you want to see more solar panels in your neighborhood? Do you want to see more reliability on different other forms of energy? The state is doing a lot of good things to move things forward, but we need to make sure that the public and the elected officials, talk to their residents and let them know what are the things that are available so that we can do a better job.
Yeah, Daniel, great conversation. We're going to continue to follow this as we go along here.
Happy to come back anytime, talk some more.
Got to have you back. Daniel Ortega, who's the Executive Director of New Yorkers for Affordable Energy. Now, if you want more information, please visit the website at NewYork4AffordableEnergy.com and then follow them on Facebook and New Yorkers for affordable energy. We encourage you don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Kat from the Kitty Rose Lifestyle, also from The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray every week right here at BronxNet, Saturdays at 11 p.m. Wow, 30 years. 30 years of BronxNet public access television. I'm a girl from Brooklyn and came to the Bronx 25 years ago, started my journey on BronxNet on public access television in 2016, and BronxNet is where I got my start. BronxNet, I feel like, is a home away from home. They support all of my endeavors, and I wouldn't have been able to be on any of the other channels if it wasn't for the fundamentals that I learned right here at my start here at BronxNet. So I am so appreciative. My son says I should stop telling people I'm from Brooklyn because I've been here now, Bronx Strong, for 22 years. So I'm so grateful, and I wish you much success in 30 years, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 more. Because public access is necessary so that people like myself can have a voice. Yes, BronxNet, it's your girl Kat from Kitty Rose. Check me out every Saturday at 11 p.m. right here, Channel 68, The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray. Mwah.
And welcome back. Bronx Independent Living Services is a not-for-profit organization that's committed to empowering individuals with disabilities. Now, through various programs, BILLS promotes self-determination and drives community change while offering tailored disability awareness initiatives for corporations, government agencies, and service providers. Here now, sharing more, we've got the Executive Director of Bronx Independent Living Services, Manuel Perez. And Manuel, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, really, have the opportunity to share with you this month. And we know that June is Disability Pride Month. And so for you, what does that mean?
Well, in general, disability pride in itself. So you have two separate issues. You have pride and you have disability pride. But for our organization, it means an opportunity for those who have disabilities to also be a part of that other movement with pride itself. So I think in general, it just means that it's more of a network that we can reach out to. We can reach out to the community, and we can further engage with individuals who have disabilities but are also part of the LGBTQ platform as well. So
yeah, and let's talk a little bit about just the services that you provide, because when it comes to people with disabilities, we know that sometimes services are sparse, but you do offer a wide array right there under your doorstep to be able to really service people.
Absolutely. The Bronx Independent Living Services, we offer sort of the full spectrum, so to speak. We offer employment services for those who are seeking, just to be able to come back into the employment community. We also offer crime victim services. We offer housing services for individuals who are in nursing homes and they're looking to engage and transition back into sort of an independent living where they can engage and have their own housing. So we offer those services as well. We offer peer integration services. We offer community outreach services. We partner with several schools throughout New York City where we offer back to school events, and we have children come in to the office, and we can just further engage, and especially those, it's important to know that we are an independent living center, and independent living centers are governed by people with disabilities to service people with disabilities. We're part of a vast network. New York City has 5 independent living centers, 1 for each borough, and we happen to represent the beautiful people of the Bronx.
And we're excited to have you here in the borough of the Bronx, really representing and doing that. Take us under your roof for a moment. For people who may not know, what are some of the services that you find to be more prevalent coming to your door right now? Because we live in a community where housing is a major issue. We talk about food insecurity, major issue right there. What are some of the major issues that you're finding through your under your roof right now?
The 2 major issues I can honestly say would be housing and employment. So In terms of employment, it's for individuals who have disabilities to be able to join the workforce. We have several programs that are funded by state contracts. One of them, Access VR, which is through the New York State Department of Education, and it allows individuals who currently are receiving SSI and SDI benefits to come back into the workforce and sort of get them, earning a higher compensation rate than what they would get normally from their disability benefits. So it's a program that we've been operating for a couple of years now. It's one of our largest programs. Then we also have housing programs. Obviously, housing in general in New York City to anyone is just, a sensitive issue, especially now, with the migrant crisis. So individuals with disabilities, we offer them the opportunity to live independently and find suitable housing where they have not only the empowerment to live alone and independent, but to also access the communities and the facilities in which they will be residing to make sure that they're accessible and they are, disabilities, so people with disabilities can actually enter those units and not find any kind of barrier, sort of staircases so that's, one of the more difficult issues with housing as well, is to finding a suitable place where, wheelchair users might be able to enter the units without needing assistance.
I know that a lot of new construction is always ADA compliant, but we do have a lot of existing structures that exist to ADA compliance that really causes some challenges for those people with disabilities. Talk to us about the progress that's been made and still the work that needs to be done.
Well, as a representative of the Bronx, most of the Bronx are older buildings, a lot of older buildings, and these are pre-war buildings. And some of these buildings were not built with the disabled in mind. The Americans with Disability Act came after World War II. So now, like you mentioned, the newer buildings are ADA compliant, but the older building is, they're just not just accessible for wheelchair users or people with disabilities. So the issue here is it's advocacy on top of services. So one spectrum that we perform are the services for those looking to, walk into our office and utilize those services. But the advocacy part is also reaching out to politicians, reaching out to stakeholders, reaching out to individuals who have the decision-making ability to force these landlords to make their buildings ADA accessible, which could increase the number of housing units that we have available.
So can you share with me also a little bit about the deaf community? Because obviously a big population across New York City. Talk to us about the services that are available for your deaf clients.
So we do have contracts with the Office of Victim Services, which also includes some of our deaf clients, and our deaf or hard of hearing clients as well can come in, and we can also engage with them, and we can provide the same level of services in terms of employment, in terms of housing, and we also have a crime victim services where individuals who, let's say, deaf or hard of hearing are not able to speak to the speak to the nature of the crime or the nature of what's occurring. So we do have our counselors that are trained properly. They do speak American Sign Language. Most of our staff are actually training to learn American Sign Language through the University of New York. So we do encourage, again, deaf clients to come into our office and utilize our services. We also provide them public benefits. We provide them support. We can guide them, and if we can't provide the services for them, we can send them to the units in New York City and to the agencies that could provide the help that they require.
And you do offer referral services. I do want to make sure that we emphasize that. Give us a little bit more insight into the referral process because you're doing a great job there. You have a whole list, and I don't want to say a plethora, if you will, and you're out there with many referrals that can actually advance the work for you and then also assist your clients.
Absolutely. So our referrals can come to us from state agencies through the New York City Department of Education, through NIO, which is the New York Association for Independent Living, Access, that's with NYSED, which is the New York Department of Education, and then we also have referrals that we give other agencies. And there's other independent living centers that we also can get referrals from through other programs such as New York Connects. So, it's just a network of brotherhood and sisterhood of individuals in the disability community who all engage together to find individuals the help that they need. And it's not just, we are the Bronx Independent Living Services, but we also are a New York City-based organization. So our office is open to anyone who is willing to walk in and in need of our services. It doesn't require you to be a resident of the Bronx. It's just the region in which we operate.
I like how you say that, Manuel. And so thank you so much for being with us, Manuel Perez, giving us some information. He is the executive director of the Bronx Independent Living Services, better known as BILLS. And now for more information, do us a favor, visit the website at bills.org. There you can find out what you need to know and find out about those referral services and the variety of other services that are offered by the Bronx Independent Living Services. Listen, don't go anywhere. We got more show, back with more open. We're coming right back right after this.
Happy anniversary to BronxNet, 30 years. Wow, brings back so many memories. This exact studio that I'm in right now, I broadcast out of here. This must have been around 2003. I mean, time flies by so quickly. I started out here, it was either Mr. Gary Axelbank and Mr. Batch with Lady Morsar. We used to do a show here called In the Neighborhood. And I brought so many different guests on this show. To be able to bring your voice to the community is very powerful. To bring hip hop and spirituality, I brought my pastor in this same studio, Pastor Gino Jennings, and I'm sure you guys know who Pastor Gino Jennings is. That's rough. And some disciplined teaching. BronxNet is something that we need to uplift our communities, because this is a platform that we can come, and if you have a vision that's in your mind going into your heart, you can use it to do uplifting things for your community.
And welcome back. The Flag Award for Teaching Excellence. It celebrates the creativity, the passion, and the dedication of extraordinary educators. Today, we're thrilled to announce and introduce one of this year's grand prize winners, an English teacher from the Bronx who's made some profound impact on her students as well as her school community. Joining us now is an English teacher at ISX 303 Leadership Community Service, Emilie Jones, and co-president of the Flag Foundation for Excellence in Education, Risa Daniels. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And so, Risa, I'll let you take it away and talk to us a little bit about, here we are, celebrating excellence in education.
Sure. So as you're aware, we do this award every year. This is our 5th year doing it. We actually expanded the award. So this year we gave out $25,000 to 6 teachers in New York City. And Emilie Jones is our Bronx winner. We're so excited to have her representing us this year.
And so we do have our representative coming to us from the borough of the Bronx, and we're excited. Talk to us about, first of all, your reaction to receiving the award.
Surprise. I was overwhelmed, but just incredibly grateful. And I was really lucky. My entire 8th grade was able to be there. Somehow they kept it secret. And all ended up in the auditorium when it was announced. So it was I'm really grateful. It was a really amazing experience.
Right. And Risa, I don't want to, downgrade the fact that, it's really to land Emilie and to be able to say, listen, she's the one. A long process, and you get a lot of people who get nominations. Talk to us about the nomination process and how did you come down to saying Emilie's the one?
Sure. So the way it works is that teachers are nominated by anyone who really knows them as a teacher. So that could be a student or a parent of a student, their principal, a colleague. Emilie got multiple nominations, so she already stood out there. And then once you're nominated, you're invited to complete certain essays. And then we whittle down to 35 semifinalists. Then we ask them to complete even more essays. We interview them, we interview their principals, and Emily just really stood out. She was doing so much in every aspect of that school. In the classroom, she was really championing student choice, student voice. Outside of the classroom, she was leading the drama department. She was a big advocate for LGBTQ youth. She was spearheading the drama department. She was running grants and some that were tremendous amount of work. She just seemed like she was a standout throughout every aspect of that school.
Emilie, forgive me, I did see Emilie in my last question to you, but I want to ask you, Emilie, about the fact of what this means for you. I mean, think about it. All the stuff that was just actually said by Risa, you know, the work that you put in, the day in, day out. Certainly you're not looking for accolades, but at the end of the day, it's a part of your job, but you excel at it.
Yeah, it's really just an honor. I do want to say that my school here in Morris Heights in the Bronx, I am finishing my 15th year today. It's the last day of school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But this school is just filled with incredible people, both the kids and the adults that I'm surrounded with. I spent all but 1 year of my teaching career here at this school, and I can tell you for certain I wouldn't be the teacher I am today without the people around me that push me every day to just do as much as we can for our kids and fill our space with love and community.
Yeah. And I think, you know, looking at where you are right now, 15 years, 14 years right there at the same educational institution, it can go one of two ways. Either it's like, oh gosh, but here it is. It's not that way. Really, people are excited about the work that you're doing. Your students recognize it. Faculty recognizes it. You're nominated, and here you are right now. I want to talk, Risa, about this because there's so many dedicated teachers out there. And in a time when teacher appreciation is at an all-time low sometimes, you really have hit the nail on the head with saying we want to celebrate teachers.
Yeah, exactly. That was really the impetus behind the award. We want to select and recognize the best teachers in the state, or in New York City, excuse me, but more so we also want to make sure that everyone is just pausing, taking a moment to recognize a teacher in their life. Even if they're not going to win the award, you can still say thank you, you can still nominate them. That goes a long, long way.
Emilie, what do you want your students to take away? I mean, this is the last day of the year for them, and for you, I guess, you know, they're going on enjoying summer break. You'll see them, but you won't see them in that kind of capacity. When a student's done and they spent the semester with you, what do you want them to take away?
I want them to feel valued and loved and appreciated. I actually just went to a high school graduation the other day of a former student. And the amazing thing is, like, our time together here at CIS 303 is coming to an end, but our time together in life will never come to an end. So I hope that my kids stay in contact with me. Many of them do. And so it's just really amazing to see what they do next because they're doing incredible things.
That's an amazing testimony to be able to see your students later on and to be able to say, listen, you know, you made that deposit. There's some teachers, I think, growing up that if I saw them again, you know, I see you. But there are others who you really gravitate to and say, this person had a profound impact in my life. And I think that, Emilie, what we're hearing from your students and by way of this award, it really means that you've made a profound impact on someone else's life. So what's next for you in terms of your thought process, how you approach teaching after receiving an award like this?
I mean, so part of the award is that I actually received a $10,000 grant for my school. And as Risa said, I am running the drama department here. And every year we're just scraping by trying to get the money together to run the drama department. And this $10,000 award that was granted to our school is going to run our drama department for at least 4, if not 5 years. And it's going to allow the kids to experience different aspects of doing theater and drama that perhaps we didn't have the funding for before. So I'm really excited about taking that and running with it here at 303.
Well, congratulations again to you, Emilie, Risa. Great work in terms of teacher appreciation. I think that's something that's undervalued these days. But to bring highlights to teachers and to make Emilie's day, Students' Day, I think it's a great thing. So thank you both for the work that you're doing, and great having you here with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And listen, I want you to know, if you want more information, don't hesitate. Visit the website, flagaward.org. Also follow them on social media at Flag Award. We encourage you, please don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Hey, creative family. My name is Timothy Coleman, and I'm the Director of Education here at BronxNet. And I'm standing in BronxNet's Media and Technology Studios in the South Bronx, because I want to let you know about an amazing program that we're bringing back that highlights the creativity of community members just like you. Emerging Media Makers is a show that introduces you to BronxNet's certified producers. They've taken a step in their creative journey by enrolling in BronxNet's media training classes. On this show, you'll get to see the many ways that our certified producers have created a space that's all their own. Emerging Media Makers, your passion lives here.
And we're back. In a year that's been marked by a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism, a unique and significant gathering is taking place. Thousands of Jewish campers and staff from around the world are coming together for a summer of Jewish camping like never before. And joining me now, we've got the Vice President of Camps at Union for Reform Judaism, Ruben Arquilevich, and we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, the camp itself, as we talk about the uniqueness of it, from your perspective, what makes this camp unique?
Yeah, so for just a little bit more perspective, we have 14 Union for Reform Judaism camps throughout the U.S., including Canada, so throughout North America. And what makes these camps and these experiences and these communities so unique is that they have lifelong impact in building friendship, building communities of belonging, building a pride of Judaism, creating spaces for Jewish joy, and in many ways creating the vision that we hope and seek for the Jewish community and for humanity as a whole. A place where young people through teens, adolescents, young adults, and even older adults can come together and discover their best selves and live Jewish values, incredible human values 24/7, and build friendships and community and skills that last a lifetime.
So for those who take part in camp, give us an idea as to what campers actually have the opportunity to experience.
Sure. So campers have a wide range of activities that they get to experience, usually centered around different types of athletics and wellness. There's certain, a whole continuum of activities around the wilderness, outdoors, nature, hiking, overnight stargazing. Campers get to participate in a wide range of arts, visual arts, fine arts, all different types of art mediums. And then there's a whole range of social, recreational, additionally fun, joyful experiences. And in the end of the day, while the activities are important, what really matters is the relationship building, the friendship building, the being together 24/7 through the night, waking up in the morning, going to meals together, participating in these activities, and then building deep friendship and community, laughing together, sharing hopes and dreams and stories together.
Talk to me about the value of community, given the fact that you have those who are together, having the understanding of the experiences, asking questions pertaining to identity, that importance of community, having community as such. What does that mean for the life of your campers?
Yeah, it's so significant for for these campers and for the parents who choose our URJ camps as a place of trust and really partnering with families and parents to raise their children over many, many years. Young people going through this process of exploring their identity, exploring their pride of Jewish life and the role they can play in making the world a better place, having questions that really present them with how to be their best selves. And one of the other ways that we do that through URJ camps is through prayer experiences, worship experiences, attention to awe and wonder, and really thinking about so many of the deep meaning in life. And for younger kids, it's so much about just learning independence, learning what it's like to be away from home, having fun and forming friendships.
Yeah. 120 campers you're going to have and 300 staff gathering together, having a great time. Talk to me a little bit about this, though, Ruben. October 7th, definitely a day that will go down in memory. A lot to really have to unpack there. Yet and still for your campers, families, the opportunity to come together and, give us a little bit about what this means, given the fact of what this year has been like.
Absolutely. Well, yes, it's been a really, really hard year. Also, just to confirm the numbers, we'll be serving 15,000 individual souls through our 14 camps in North America this summer. That includes the campers, over 3,000 young adult staff, including 400 Israeli staff, many faculty members, and many community leaders who are the stakeholders and supporters of our camps. Yes, since October 7th, it's been such a hard time, and we continue to pray and hope for security and peace for everybody in that region. And what we have discovered is our camps can play a role as being a sanctuary, a place of nurturing, of unconditional love, of embracing the diversity of our community, of embracing different perspectives, and really focusing it on the joy, the peace, the civility, the making memories, the friendship, the community building, while certainly holding and acknowledging the suffering that continues in that region and that conflict.
Well, Ruben, I want to wish you a happy and a safe summer. Thank you for taking the time and sharing with us today. And best wishes to your campers and then also to the staff and to those who are putting it together.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
All righty. Take care. Well, listen, if you want more information, visit the website at urj.org and then follow them on Facebook and X at urj.org. And that's the letter U, R, J, org. All right? There's a lot of letters there. We've come to the end of our show today and want to thank all of our guests for joining us. Most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, please catch the Recablecast, Optimum Channel 67, Verizon Files, that'd be Channel 2133, or anytime, just watch us on the web at BronxNet.org. Now, if you want to catch a brand new episode of Open, come back Friday. My girl, Rita Valentine, will be here. I want to tell you, this wraps up this episode for Open. I am Daren Jaime. Tell you, make sure to keep this channel wide open. Take care, and God bless.